Okay, we're live. Hello, welcome. I am looking for some useless paper. Oh, there we go. Okay. Make sure it's useless before I put paint on it. Now these two pieces of paper got seepage from the latex used on the sides to hold the block of paper together. And it doesn't want to come off. And I don't like it. And it does bother me enough that I have to do something about it. I decided to try a couple different things. While the glue gun is heating up for a glue gun experiment, I'm just going to use plain acrylic to get these edges done one at a time. Fortunately, because of this, oh no, that one looks, that's acceptable. Okay, it's one that's messed up on both sides. I thought it was two different paintings. It's just both sides of the same paper. It's kind of like they finished a block and then realized it was too short and they added to it. Oh, let's try. And this was definitely put on by a machine. It's just perfectly even. Put on top of the paper instead of on the side of it. Yep. I think when it is completely dry, see where I'll have to go back over this, but it's kind of risky to do it when it's wet. We'll come back to that, and we will probably end up doing the whole border just to even it out. Now the other way I was thinking of doing it is by laying down a bead of glue and then gold plating it. Or not plating it, actually, that's the wrong thing. Just kind of laminating it on. Okay. I'll try not to send all that stuff flying again. I can contain my excitement. Hello there, Sancho. How are you, darling? Happy weekend. Happy almost Christmas. Oh, that looks happy. Yes. A little off kilter though. In general, streaming is pretty interesting. Well, that is true. That is what it is. It's just like television, live TV, live. Except when you stream, you get to interact more intimately with the streamer. Because when you have a large audience, I mean, because I've been on stage, not famous stages, just, you know, as a local performer. In doing that, you have a room full of people, and due to lights and the size of the room, even when if you're not nearsighted, you can only see so far into a crowd, and you want to feel, you know, more connected with the people because they're the people you're trying to entertain. You want to be able to see their reactions. And in my shows, I liked to leave room for interaction, but there wasn't a whole lot of that. But between songs, we didn't just like run from one song to another. We'd like to talk with the audience. Or my first bass player, he had a joke and he told the same joke every show. The joke became the fact that he told the same joke all the time. Yeah. Well, you want to document going through all that, right? Look at National Geographic. That's why it became so famous. People taking dares and risks. But you have to prove that you did it. You need a way to document that. Photographs, and then when they could, movies. Yeah. That's because people are not content with just living. So many people want to leave their mark on the world, or, you know, be famous, etc. And a lot of people are not, they feel like they failed if they don't do more than just live a good life, raise a family, and be part of a family. But a good life isn't all about great adventures. It's like just staying alive on this planet is an adventure, right? Yeah, how much do you pay for that? It gives you the freedom to believe that you're free to choose whatever you want, but you're always guided toward what they want you to see more than anything else. Yeah. Is that your only subscription? Paid subscription? Or do you also have things like Netflix or Prime? Oh, it's stuck. Yeah. Isn't it strange? These people have us paying to stay in our homes and watch other people do shit. And we pay them so we can see their advertisers. It's so fucking stupid. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Meta is failing. And that was excellent example of somebody trying to literally have people create a world of their preferences. The problem is we don't rise, we don't grow with only getting what we want instantly. That's why we manifest as humans, because we like the challenges. That's why the kite rises against the wind and falls flat when it just keeps going with it. When it comes to energy, when we're talking about energy, going with the flow is what serves us best. But one of the reasons we love being here is that we don't get everything instantaneously. We have to think about things. We've got to develop preferences in this three-dimensional world, and it's a challenge. It's the challenge that makes it fun. The unexpected stuff. Holy shit, I wasn't expecting that at all. Mine is more than yours. I'm paying $123 a month as of this last bill. We're going to have to renegotiate that this week. Well, around the holidays. My contract ends in January, and I'm not happy with them, so we'll see what happens. Now, I am paying for, what is it, 5K capability, 4K for sure. I've got a good modem. I'm paying for that. That's included in the rent. I mean, I'm renting the modem as part of my internet monthly fee. But then on top of that, my phone. I added my phone to the service to get a deal 2 years ago. That's what I said. That's the contract that's expiring. And that is $21 a month. See, I lived so many years without a television. And the beautiful part about that is, yes, we did use a television. People sent us movies. I bought movies. So we saw things. It wasn't like we were completely removed from society that way. But we didn't keep up with everything because everything we got was delayed, you know. We didn't see any live television. Also, we didn't see any commercials. So that was a plus. We used a VHS, VCR tapes. VCR with VHS tapes, that's it. We used that, and the side effect was us doing a lot of stuff. I mean, we did stuff all the time. We were creating all the time. Well, we had the farm, so I was always in the garden, or frequently in the garden outside. Ex-husband was in the garden inside. We had dogs and cats and wildlife and walks in the woods, and it was just a life, you know. I was very happy. I finished my first book in the country. I had a great life. I only left it because the ex was never happy wherever he was. He was one of those people that thought if he kept going and moving and don't get too close to people, then he would be able to be happy somewhere, but it was always somewhere where he wasn't. So, you know, no matter where you go, you take yourself with you. So if you're not happy with you, you ain't going to be happy. But I did love the simpler life, and we did have internet. I was one of the first people to get internet in North Carolina. I also was part of an electric company co-op, and I got to see what electricity really costs versus what the electric companies charge. Do you know that this year, for the 10th year, I got dividends back from having been, I mean, like 9 years in a row, I got a check for over $100. The electric company paying me back for my investment in the co-op years ago. Now, I believe I'm down to, like, they've caught up with me now, so they don't owe me anything. But the thing is that all those years, our electric bills were so low. And just 7 miles down the road, where another electric company took over, which was more like a public electric company, which everybody got stuck using because it was the only game in town, they were paying, oh my God, 10 times more than what we were on a hot summer day. It was just disgusting that they were being charged that much. So yes, we can have better prices for our power. It's just they don't want to give it to us because they're making too much money. Okay, I got a little sloppy with the glue there. That'll be all right. That's horrible. Why don't you throw up a little solar panel on the top of your shed? In the winter, unless you're surrounded by pine trees, you must be getting some sunlight right now, this time of year. Oh, that ain't shit. When I lived across the street 3 years ago, my regular just keeping my bedroom warm, and I just barely kept everything just so it wouldn't freeze any pipes. $300, $350 a month. I had to pay it out in increments because that was more than half of what I was making a month. So that was not even counting my rent. Yeah, that was the other company, and now that company is charging this woman I know. She's trying to retire, but now she can't. She's been paying down the mortgage of her house, and she's like really getting close to it being done. But she's paying $600 a month for her mortgage, and now she's paying $600 a month for her electric because the electric company decided they were tacking on an extra $300 a month to make up for the money that the electric company lost during COVID. Now, I don't know how that became legal, how they can charge people back for what they lost in income. That's bullshit. So I'm really unhappy about it, and it's not even my bill. So yeah, a lot of things have to change. I can't read. Let's see. Are you in Australia? Australia has so many time zones, just like the US. I forget where is what, since I'm not familiar enough with where things are in Australia. Everything has room for improvement. Let me see, so I do migrant farm work. Oh, okay. God, as long as you stay safe. So you're all over the place. Stay away from, was it Iowa that just, the onion growers hired everybody to pick the crop and then turned them all over to ice when the crop was picked. So we're boycotting their onions. All right, holiday card, except for the note on the back. It is done. I agree. I'm totally for unions. I myself was once in a union. However, that was also, I was a vocal member of the union, and I became more trouble than I was worth, if you know what I mean. I was demanding that they take care of safety violations, like putting freaking light bulbs in the woman's restroom, especially because we were working second shift, you know, at night. So the way they get rid of you is they promote you to management, and they don't tell you that once you're in management, you are out of the union. Union's not for management. So that's how they shut me up. Actually, the only thing that finally shut me up was I had to have back surgery, and I couldn't work there anymore. So they got rid of my mouth, but I did get some changes done while I was there, and on the floor with everybody else. You can never do enough, though. You can never do enough. The building that I worked in, very big company, very famous company, famous for making fire extinguishers and a bunch of other stuff. I was part of the other stuff, not the fire extinguisher. And I loved my work. I mean, I find something good whatever I do. And I've worked in a few factories, and I happen to like factory work, most factory work. I did have a factory job I did not like, working with some Teflon, which really sucked. But aside from that, most jobs I found silver linings, and that's what I always look for. But, you know, I had a temp job working at a Warner Lambert plant in California. And I thought, especially after having been in other jobs, from waitress to, you know, everything you do when you're unskilled labor and homeless and you find work, right? So I did a bunch of shit jobs when I was young because that's all that was available to me, because I was underage and nobody could legally hire me. So I got to experience different things. But when I got to that factory, I was so impressed by, first of all, they handled foodstuffs. I was there making bubblicious bubble gum, but there were also the people who made hand lotions basically used on old people, and Effordent, for dentures, and Halsman, the Liptus sugarless cough drops, things like that. So it was a very, very clean factory. Everybody wore, pretty much the equivalent of scrubs. We had booties for our shoes, hair nets, the whole bit, gloves, because you're touching things other people are going to stick in their mouth or potentially stick in their mouth. And one day the Teamsters showed up and started getting people riled up about, you need a union, you need a union. In the meantime, I'm looking like, wow, first of all, they get a way above minimum wage, which was a big deal because it was really hard to find any job back then that paid more than minimum, especially in a factory where, you clock in, you go out, you get your lunch break, you clock back in, blah, blah, blah. And then you go home, right? You clock in, no responsibilities once you leave the factory. It was a nice parking lot even. It's like, what do these people have to complain about? It's a job. They know what they're doing. It's not like it's hard work. They're making freaking bubble gum, and it's only got 4 ingredients, and it's like, I don't see any hazardous waste or hazardous conditions. Everything was really above board. Their lunchroom was impressive. It's like, this is what they have every day. This is just like the everyday Joe's work environment. Not bad. Not bad for a bloody factory. But they got all pissy. They wanted a union. And I said, look, I've worked in factories before in New York, and all they're going to do is shut this place down if you make too much noise. They're not going to lose anything. This is not the only factory that makes bubblicious bubblegum. They've got multiple ones across the country. We just happen to be making strawberry and orange. The other people are making watermelon and apple. So they can just shift that workload over there and won't lose a dime. And people didn't believe me, and sure enough, somebody threw a plastic bag into the mix with the gum and, froze the entire line of production, and the machines had to be taken apart and cleaned out, and what a mess that made. It didn't shut the plant down, it just shut down that line, because you have more than one machine making gum in a factory. But it just, people get upset about the wrong things. There's good reason for having unions. But when you're being given stock as part of your Christmas bonus every year from the company, that is not exactly like the other factories I worked in. They didn't give you shit. You were lucky you didn't get laid off between Christmas and New Year's. Like, oh, we have one last order. We'll bring you back in for a week, but they don't tell you it's just for a week. You know what I mean? Lots of factories pull that. So I just don't understand, like, some people, they don't know how good they have it, and other people don't realize that they have the rights to way better than what they have. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. A long time ago. I remember in Southern California, getting a cashier's job was a big deal because they were making $17 an hour, which blew my mind because I was working my ass off. I loved my job. I wasn't complaining. I really loved what I was doing, but I was only making $8.35 an hour, and I managed a department. So it was strange, to see that comparison. And right down the street from me, with no driving at all, really, these people were making 17 plus an hour. At like Albertsons, I guess. Some of them were really doing quite well for the time. Of course, by then, that was around Reagan, and then we started to see things not get good anymore for the worker. Yeah, I am glad that you're not out there also. Yeah, it's a strange time to be in this country, but it must be the way it is until people realize that you go woke or go broke. Wake up, America. There are so many companies I'm not buying from now. They outnumber the people I'm buying from. I'm really grateful that I live in a state that has a large agricultural community, and I know that we will have more support in that area. Unfortunately, we're also a military state. I mean, we supply submarines. People are so easily upset by political theater because they're lied to, and people who don't know better. Like if you're living out in California, how the hell would you know what's going on in Groton, Connecticut? Unless you had family there or a business reason to know, you would be clueless about what's really happening here. Because wherever you're at, you've got enough. Whatever is going on around you, that's enough to keep track of without thinking about what's going on in other states or all the way across the country or across the world. It's really hard to keep track of everything. When I lived here 45 years ago, one of the biggest companies was Pfizer, and it still is. And when I lived here, I remember the closest thing we had to international food was we had Greek food, we had Italian food, we had everything American food. And the International House of Hot Dogs. Okay? An Italian hot dog meant tomato sauce and mozzarella. I don't think they had a Mexican one, all right? And then finally, I hear just when I was moving out in the 80s to California, where they did hear of Mexican food, they put a Taco Bell in. And it's like, Taco Bell? Like, I don't think anybody understood what that meant. It was just a mystery food. Even in North Carolina, I went looking for a box of matzah for the Jewish holidays. Actually, just because I like matzah, it's a cracker, and you could only find it around the Jewish holidays. Well, I went to a Walmart, and I knew from looking, I knew they had matzah, but I couldn't find it. And I finally found an employee who knew what the word was. And they said, oh yeah, it's with the Mexican foods. They put a box of matzah. I guess they confused Hebrew lettering for Spanish. All right, ignorance runs deep. I gotta say, some of it's just very funny. It's hard to understand people who never do anything or go anywhere outside of where they were born and raised. There are people in this building who have never been outside of the state, never in their entire lives ventured over a state line to visit another state. And we are a stone's throw from other states. It's like, you never went into New York? You never went into Massachusetts? You never went to Rhode Island? Like, okay. But then you have others that have traveled a little bit to other states. But even when I lived here 45 years ago, I ran into people that refused to cross the new bridge that was being built because everything they needed was already on their side of the bridge. So when we think about political divides, these people are so fucking stubborn. The bridge divided. That was enough for them. A bridge went over the river, and there was a new bridge instead of the old bridge. And they couldn't get themselves to cross it because their side was better. They don't have anything we don't have. It's like, really? You sure about that? I don't need anything over there. What do they have? Well, I don't know. They have a theater. We don't. They have a train station. We don't. So yeah, it's a strange mindset. Now California, New York and California were both good places to be because people, well, there are just so many more people. And you got exposed to more culture and everything, all the different foods and fashions and music. And like you go and walk around downtown New York, you're going to hear different languages. And it doesn't feel strange. It's just different languages. You're not in that conversation, so you go about with your conversation. But if you went down south, where I used to live in North Carolina, that was backwoods. That was different. I said, down south, the stuff that sounded weird just went into the Mexican food section automatically. Matzo. How do you say that? Must be Mexican. In New York, though, it was Puerto Rican. My best friend in high school was Puerto Rican. And even though I learned some cooking stuff from her mother, I still just never thought of her as in any way different or separate. She was just my best friend, and she was living in my apartment building, and we went to the same school, you know? It's like, you're Puerto Rican? Oh, cool, okay. Tell me more about your food, since she was born here and had never been to Puerto Rico, so she really couldn't tell me anything about Puerto Rico other than what her parents told her. But oh, the food. Don't you think if we just focused on food, fashion, and music, we could get more people together? We all need to wear clothes. No matter where we are in the world, we have to wear a little something, if only as sun protection. We all need to eat, and different places have some different spices just because what'll grow where they are. There's so many cool things that we could share. People stop being so pissy about minor things and try a little harder. Well, these are probably too big, but I think that'll look nice. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go with that. Do you have a favorite X job? I mean, I would not want to be in a strawberry field with my back bent in the sun. Because I know what it is to be in the sun, my back bent in the garden. And that is a day's work in the first 2 hours of the sunrise, and it's over. For me. But I loved hands-on being in the garden. I loved getting into the dirt. So I didn't bitch about it, except in the summer when North Carolina in the summer could be pretty sucky. Oh, come on. Sancho, if you're still here, have you ever come north for the cranberry harvests? Well, I've got to say that hot glue holds on to the foil beautifully. And since you just have to wait for it to cool, that's way better than acrylic paint. So that looks like I could use a little bit more if I dare. I'll just heat that up and get some more gold on there. Ouch. Gotta watch out with these. I just remembered what I forgot. I need to make candles. I think I've got enough trees. Okay. I did want some gold candles. Well, we're gonna just have to make do. Okay. 2 down. Oops, sorry. I really wanted to make today the last day of working on cards. Because there are so many other things I need to get done. Here we are, and it's just days before Christmas. Even though I don't celebrate Christmas personally, I do celebrate the season of light, the solstice, and I was raised with the tradition of Hanukkah, but I don't actually celebrate Hanukkah outside of the fact that it's a celebration of light overcoming darkness, which is extremely symbolic right now. So I can roll with that, but I don't have any religious attachment to holidays. Uh-oh. No. Don't get stuck now. I hate when that happens. There we go. There's that little chunk. Pull that out. We good now? Yes. It's a better. Now it laid down so flat on top of the glue. It looks like it was printed on. How strange. I did not expect that at all. Okay. I'm glad I don't have to do that with all of them. It's way easier to do that with a paintbrush, actually. dear. Oh, today I got to see an internet troll get trolled. Apparently someone wrote something very nasty on somebody else's feed, and that person tracked them down to their physical address and said, see how easy that was? It doesn't feel good, does it? So I want you to read this apology. She's going from troll to troll in person. She's driving to their freaking places, finding these people and making them apologize on record and promise not to do that to other people. And she said, if you don't apologize, I will show this to your wife and your grandparents. It's like, girl, you got him. So men, watch your ass. And girls, because some of those teenage girls especially, yeah, they have such little self-esteem, they have to hurt other people to feel like they're somebody. Those are waste of air kinds of people. But they do exist, and we have to deal with them. But there's ways and there's ways. Oh, sorry. Come here. There we go. Nice and weighted down. Sit. Okay, let's see, a bit more gold. I'll do this over here. Well, we got a lot of gold. Cute. little excess there. Ooh, maybe a little glitter would be cool on that, since we've got some texture. Crappy brush. Oh, let's put the glitter first. How about, we'll go with some blue. Now, you don't really want to try and coat this metal with this stuff because it'll oxidize it. It does not like water. But where he just made a little circle of it. Give a little halo. Oh yeah. This is a super fine mica that we experimented with, trying to get this through an airbrush onto electric guitars to make really sparkly finishes. It sucked. It did not work out. I mean, it looked cool, but nothing like what anybody wanted it to look like, so just sand it off. But I got to keep the sample of it because it is basically glitter. This one happens to be purple and green, depending on what angle you're looking at. Ugly. Well, I think that could use a little more, actually. Yes. We'll do that again. Hey, there you are. Home, home. All right. It's Christmas vacation time. How do you feel? I'm okay. I'm okay. I got these two done, finished from yesterday. Keep it simple. And now I'm finishing up two more. And this one has to dry because I had to use acrylic around the edges because of some glue leakage that the company that made that block caused, not me. But I'm trying to fix it. Spiritually, physically, I'm not so well. You did it again, huh? Aww. You gotta do a lot of water to clean out your liver. That's what the not so fun is. Your liver going, oh, what did you do to me, you fucker? Stop. I know. Well, I hope that you'll see him in January, but at least you guys made a strong enough bond as friends to carry that into the future, so I get it. Well, one way or another, you will see him again. May it be in the best of health for both of you. Oh, well, yeah, of course. That goes without saying. It's the internet. You can't get totally lost. Wait, there's a note here. I gotta just... My friend sent me a little picture. A meme. I sell pardons. Change my diaper. Gross. Okay. So I got my fancy hot cocoa, and you already said that, Marcus. Oh, no, sorry. My thing scrolled back to the beginning. I said, that's funny. Marcus just said all that. It will be now we study. God help you. No problem. That's the cool thing about God. It's everywhere. For everything. With everyone. And you don't even have to believe. You can do it. But not today. Today and tomorrow is recovery. Get grounded again. That matters. That matters. We have to make good memories. And the whole point of being here is to experience joy. So, good. You did the right thing. The headache will pass, but the memories will live on. And I love that for you. It's not every day we meet people with whom we are simpatico. But the more we're in touch with ourselves, the more people we meet that are more in line with that. Oh, wait. Oh, how cool is that? That's very nice. Oh yes, booze brings out all of the mushy sides we have. That's That's one of the things I love about booze. Of course, people their feelings can be exaggerated when they're drunk. That is a problem. Especially if the next day they go, what the hell happened? Who are you? I what? We did what? What? I hope he made it home all right. No, I'm sure he did, sweetie. He found a good soul in you. I'm glad you guys met. I think I'll do that with blue too. I like that. Yeah, how did he get home? Holy cow. I mean, I know he's more experienced with the wine than you are, but and nevertheless, drunk is drunk. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Try not to get like that again. It leaves you at a disadvantage. Well, it used to be cool night air would wake us up, but there is also having too much to manage. Too much drink to manage that. Yeah, wine does have that effect. It makes you sleepy. It's why wine, I noticed when I was working with heroin addicts, that when they went straight, they didn't so much go straight as switch their addiction from heroin, which was illegal, to wine, which was. So they still got that heavy body feeling, I guess. Now, I've never done heroin, but I certainly have been drunk. So I don't know if they said that was the closest thing. So yeah, wine became the substitute for heroin. Oh my goodness, yeah. You didn't share all of this with your mother, did you? Okay. Although your brother would probably be amused to find out that you got loaded more than once. Ah. How did she react? Was she cool? Which I would assume she would be, because, you know, off in college, there are a lot worse things you could get into. Yeah, that as a parent, I probably would have received that information the same way, with a sense of humor. Well, sometimes vomiting is your best friend. I have a resistance to it, so I try not to do anything that's going to make me want to vomit. But that's actually the fastest way to get rid of excess booze, and a way to prevent alcohol toxicity. So if you ever get to a point, you can force yourself to puke and get most of it back out of your system before it becomes fatal. Not so. How many hours of sleep did you get? With wine, it's not the alcohol as much as the sediments in it, the other stuff that's in it. It makes you more sluggish. Oh, good. Good. Well, you're young and resilient, thank goodness. See, that is the problem with young people. I say this as one who was young and did drugs and everything else, so I get it. I know the desire and also the feeling like nothing can touch you. I definitely felt like Supergirl, you know, when I tried things. I didn't think about it really deeply before I tried it. And I'm fortunate that nothing really bad happened to me under the influence, but there were a couple of times I realized that, oh my God, if I'd been in the wrong place when that happened, I would have been a goner. What time did you have to catch the train? I stayed up later than you did last night. But anyway, so what are your plans for tomorrow? You gotta do something to unwind. You're gonna go to the cafe, say hey, look for some old faces. Yeah. All right. Oh, I guess a little. Oh, whoops. Go with whatever you feel most intuitive about, my dear. Whatever you feel the impulse for, that's what you do. You got 2 weeks. If you push too fast or hard, you'll burn yourself out and get pissed off at yourself because you'll lose patience and get discouraged. And like, just give yourself a break for a couple of days. Go to the cafe. Get yourself something different. Oh yeah, I wasn't recommending you even go there that often, but you gotta go there first thing. All right, that's just what you do when you're home. Say hey, and hang out a little. Maybe even have a bowl of soup or a fancy coffee for a treat. Do something different as well as familiar. Otherwise the brain gets sluggish. It needs new energy. And you just are coming off some really great new energy, Mr. Shiny. So you want to kind of keep that momentum going so that you can meet more Mr. Shinies. Not as shiny perhaps, but same kind of a vibe, you know? He's not the only one like that. But he was a really good example to help you get tuned to it so you can attract more of it into your life. All right, we've got all the primaries represented. Well, all right, 2 primaries and a tertiary. I guess the gold is yellow. So we got blue, yellow, and a tertiary green. And now the red. Wait, how many books? The word is blocked out. 6? Or 16? Or some? Begins with S, that's all I can see. We went to an antique store and I also got books yesterday. The thing on the bottom of my phone is blocking out the word. Third volume select works of linen in Spanish. Oh, no shit. Well, cool. That's not coincidence. It's coordination, synchronicity. You ask, it comes. Whatever is the nearest available expression will appear in your path. You'll be guided to it when you chill. When you get all worked up, you don't find things like that. Well, that's plenty. You still have to study, and that stuff is not really related to your study. Although, yes, sideways it can be, or philosophy, but you need to, you know what you need to focus on. Don't get too distracted. Those books can wait, because the history is past history. It's already shit that's happened. Okay, we got 4 down, 2 plus to go. We are making some progress. I wanted to make today the last day working on the cards, but I screwed up, and I cut all my gold into tree shapes when I needed candle shapes. Stay there and dry. This means I have to make candles. And I can't use these for the candles, they're too frivolous. I know you need to study. And you will. But you have to learn to pace yourself so you don't burn out. You've got to learn to give yourself some chill time for real. So tomorrow, at least 24 hours of no thinking about your studies. Then hit the books with a schedule in your mind, refreshed, plan ahead that way for your energy to be there. It's your self-talk that's going to matter. Okay, I need bubbelas. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. Well, it was almost. Where did I just put? Oh, right there. is a really pretty color. I think I'm just going to get another piece of paper. We will finish this up. Let's see. Wait. Oh, that's a good idea. That should be, make it more interesting. So did you get a picture of him? You guys got a selfie together or anything? Like buds? Because that's definitely a bud thing. Surely he wanted to bring a picture back to his girlfriend to show his new best friend. God! You would think that you were both hetero. You're guys. Nope, selfie. He is what? Oh, well, I kind of thought that when you said shiny. This took away some of his shininess. The stress. Oh. Well, I'm sure he will get back his shine. Yeah. Well, he must have been shining pretty good after all that wine. The wine shine, as it were. I would probably be shiny after that much wine. Okay, I think we're just going to go with this. Oh, did you? You know, I've never been able to stay awake for the whole thing. Oh, wow. Mr. Shiny sounds more and more like you than not, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I wouldn't think so in a room. You can't really express yourself, but he felt loose enough to do that. It's unusual. What, how you turn? Oh. Yeah, I would not remember. I've had a few ballet lessons, but I resented them. It was basically all exercising, which I also didn't like, so. Big problem for me was I want to tap dance, and that's it. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I would assume a choreographer. Oops. And thank you for the thumbs up, whoever did that. Oh. Yeah, definitely not into it enough to know about that. In fact, I have never been to a ballet that I can remember. I've been to operas, symphonies, or symphonic performances, orchestras, Broadway plays. That's about it. Yeah, and as much as I admire the athleticism and precision of ballet dancers, I'm into tap. I like the noise, I like the action, I like tap dancing. So I'll watch tap dancers, but ballet does not hold my interest for very long. I can watch it for a little while, but then, no, I get tired. Give me a Vera Ellen or a Ann Miller or a Gwen Verdon or, yeah, a bunch of other people. Dances. I think we're just going to leave that one there. We're not going to deck it out with balls. We're just going to leave it. All right, I need to make candles. Come here. Oh yeah. This does not like to leave the pad. It has to be dissected. That glue is so harsh, I have to cut it off anyway. I guess this is why it was so inexpensive, but the paper itself is really good. Well, it's strange kind of good. You get to work with it, it's really good. But it's definitely tricky. There goes the gold leaf. All over my phone. Okay, let's slice us a piece right now. Okay. All right, I get to go a little crazy here. But I think I'm going to tape it. Oh, you know what? That's coming very handy right now. Here's the back of this. I'm not doing this for a border. This is just to keep it flat while I float a bunch of water on it. guess this is going to have to go into tomorrow. But we do have a stream every Sunday morning, so we'll have something to do. Now what I have to do today is I need to make more of my sesame maple crunch, which by now you guys should know inside out to the point where it's boring. But I finished the last smidgens of it today and went, I have to make more of this. I stopped eating it and my nails started getting weak again. So we can't let that happen. All right, let's get some color here. Plain water here. I always use purified water for anybody just walking in and wondering, what is she doing? We're just getting this nice and wet so I can float some mica color over it. And we're gonna go with some blues. Yeah, it looks like white right now. It's very, very pale. But it is leaving a mark, and it'll leave more of a mark when I start adding other blues. And it just starts showing up. So for those who celebrate things, the winter solstice is upon us. And the new moon was yesterday. Now the new moon, for people who live by the lunar calendar, it marks the first day of the month for you guys. I used to use a lunar calendar, but actually I can't even find one that's being printed anymore. So I just buy inexpensive regular calendars. But today we're still part of the new moon celebrations if you celebrate, or just look at it as a symbol of starting a new project, starting something new. And if you're a gardener, this would be when you are planting above ground crops. Of course, in most of the parts of the world right now, I don't think it's planting season. Oh, this blue is just gorgeous. Oh, it's already too dry. Come on, loosen up. There we go. I don't want that in my gold. Maui, are you here? Okay, now while this is good and wet, I want to get some snowflake splashed on that. Gonna give us some silver. bit more serious here. I noticed that this paint, this particular color, and a couple of others with very heavy mica, it takes a little bit to get a brush full of pigment dense enough to really see. Now when I'm done with all of the holiday cards, I will be able to change the table. Okay, you can't quite see it yet, but the pigment, the mica, is starting to push the colored pigments to the side of wherever the spots are, so you get this kind of an effect in watercolors. You can throw coarse salt and let it dry, and it kind of puckers up a little bit, holds the pigment, makes this kind of a sandy or a snowflakey effect. But you don't necessarily need the salt or the sand, because a sufficient concentration of mica will do the exact same thing. We have, let's see how we're going to do that. I'm imagining how I'm going to be cutting this up into slices before they are glued down. I really like that blue. I think I want more of that. A little too pastel-y there. I think that might do it. All right, so when this dries, it should dry flat this time, since it's taped down on all four sides. And tomorrow I can cut it up, and we will put it on some new backgrounds, which I'll probably have to create, which I'm okay with. So let's move that over and get something for tomorrow going. Now let me think. Don't want it to be quite as wide as the postcard, because it's going to go in an envelope. trim you, aren't we? Actually, I'm going to turn you into 2 cards, so now we're going to be good. We'll do that for both of you. Nah, we'll leave that. Pretty close. Oh. That was one flaw that this pad came with, aside from outrageous glue. The corner smashed on all of the pages, so it must have been a hell of a shipment that got dropped, because all the pads have that. I like that better. Okay. So let's get these going. We've got to definitely tape these off for tomorrow. I like getting the backgrounds done on one day and then come in and do the details on the next. Things move a little faster. Hello, quiet people. They're so polite. Or rude, I don't know. I'm not sure what the etiquette is. Respectful silence. Ah, okay. I got this special cocoa, very, very expensive cocoa, because it's not regular cocoa. It's a health food version of cocoa. And by the description, it seemed like this is what they give children and adults. They want to be healthy for breakfast, or a breakfast drink. And my sister said that she used it for a couple of weeks and she really loved how she felt with it, but given the price, she did not reorder because she got the first $28 package as a gift. Yeah, $28 for 10 cups of cocoa. A little outside my comfort zone, but I was able to spare it this month, especially holiday month. So this morning, I made my first cup of moringa cocoa. And the first thing that came to me when I took the first sip was, oh my God, I'm back at 7 years old drinking hot chocolate made with Bosco syrup. Bosco was a liquid chocolate syrup that had a pump, and kids could use it and put it in their milk and make their own chocolate milk. Because it was already liquid, it worked fine in cold milk. And that's how a lot of parents got their kids to drink milk. It's in Bosco. Also, it was heavily advertised, and lots of kids got into Bosco. And I remember even as a kid, I didn't like milk. Milk made me sick, and Bosco made it mostly tolerable, but honestly, I prefer the booze. But Bosco was not the first thing I was expecting, and something that wasn't full of sugar. It has moringa, a plant powder in it. And moringa, gram for gram, is such a powerhouse of nutrients, and they make all kinds of claims with moringa. Now, I have to say, if moringa lives up to the claims, of which there are many, we could all give up our health insurance and just go eat that. Or I'd say include it in our regular diet. But I found that in the morning, when my body and mouth wants bitter, like tea or coffee, that sweetness of hot cocoa and the mouth feel, it was just too much. It was like, ugh. I got about halfway done, and then I just couldn't do anymore. It's like, it's too early in the morning for sweet. I'm not ready for sweet. So I threw it away, and I made a cup of tea. I figured, all right, when it's slouch in the middle of the day, everybody gets that little slump in the afternoon, or a lot of people do. I used to not, but now I do. I thought maybe that's a good time for it. So I asked my sister, well, when did you drink it? Because I thought she was drinking it in the morning, and it was giving her, like, get up and go. Oh, she was drinking it at bedtime because it doesn't have as much caffeine as, something like coffee or tea. But I'm like, I'll show you this stuff. It doesn't, I don't know, if nighttime is the right time to drink this. Now, I will tell you, this little packet of hot cocoa, now I drink hot cocoa every night, and I'm going to say that volume-wise, it's about the same amount of powder going into the cup. This is the individual. It even has the batch number, the manufacturing date, the expiration date, and the ingredients. The number one ingredient is cocoa. But then high fiber plant creamer made of coconut and tapioca. Oligosaccharide. I'm assuming it's some kind of a sweetness taken from chicory root. And then moringa. So the thing I found really weird about it was that it had a really full mouth feel, as if I poured a bunch of half and half or cream in it. And I wasn't ready for that because my tea does not have that same heavy mouthfeel. So I've been kind of like, really? Okay, but let me read it to you, and let me see if you decide this should be morning or night. All natural, dairy-free, no refined sugars. 3 times more vitamin E than spinach. 7 times more vitamin C than oranges. It's in the hot cocoa. I mean, that's because of the moringa, right? So this is what they put on the box. And I have to say, if you're looking for a good, healthy food, this ticks all the boxes. All right. Now, of course, this is per weight. You have to remember what they're comparing, but it has 17 times the calcium of milk, 15 times the potassium of bananas, 10 times the vitamin A of carrots, 9 times the protein of yogurt, 4 times the chlorophyll of wheatgrass, 25 times the iron of spinach. I'm anemic. This is a big deal for me. And 92 nutrients, 46 antioxidants, omega-3, 6, 9, zeaxanthin, and vitamins A through Z. Non-GMO, allergen-free, lactose-free, gluten-free. It's like, all right, now you got to hear the claims. All right, this is a hot cocoa. You've got to hear the claims. Helps in maintaining healthy circulatory system. Aids in improving elasticity of blood vessels. Helps reduce high-fat diet. That's the dyslexia kicking in. Helps reduce high-fat diet-induced obesity. Gives relief from bronchial asthma. Beneficial for maintaining healthy brain. Helps to lower LDL cholesterol and glucose levels. Improves insulin resistance and glucose metabolism. Start your family off right with a cup of the most nutrient-filled hot chocolate on the market. Coca-Ringa. Children adore it, adults crave it, and science approves it. This incredibly tasty and delicious superfood cocoa is packed with immune-boosting, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant ingredients. A unique blend of miracle food moringa, high-fiber plant creamer, and rich, dark, unprocessed cocoa. Coca-Ringa helps with regularity, you know what that means, digestion, memory, mood, cravings, and a host of other health issues. Drink at least 1 cup a day for 14 days in a row to see the difference Coca-Ringa makes for you. The box has, does it have 14 in here or 10? I thought it came with 10. Servings? No, this is 2 weeks worth, 14 servings. So you can try this. Well, what I'm thinking is when you have something that's highly nutritious, you usually want that earlier in the day when you're going to be burning your nutrition up, right? And I mean, you do use a lot of calories while you're sleeping because your processes are still, like your liver cleans itself between 9 and 11 p.m. So there are things you take at night that are more beneficial taken at night than in the morning, like my vitamin D, my iron, a couple other things. For the liver cleaning, milk thistle. That is nighttime. It's most beneficial. So I split my vitamins for morning and evening. I know exactly what I was thinking. It's like if I drink one of these in the morning, it's gonna. I'm not a big eater in the morning. I like to have my tea, an orange, a little sesame crunch, or some protein bar that's got seeds, and that holds me till around 10 a.m. and then I have a real brunch, and that serves me until dinner time. But this would ruin my appetite. I would not want a bowl of oatmeal after drinking one of these. So, but I can't imagine drinking something that high in nutrition at bedtime when I normally drink hot cocoa. So yeah, what do you think? Right. I mean, I know that cocoa, pure cocoa, unadulterated with sugar, is a health food. It actually is. Just like chocolate. The chocolate is a health food, but only if it's 72% cocoa or higher. Anything lower than that is just candy. But if it's higher, you actually get a benefit from it for your heart and your blood and your mood. So I can see some of the health claims, but what's making this different is the moringa. Moringa is a plant that has been attributed with keeping people alive. It's so nutritious. I actually bought a bottle of the capsules for a dietary supplement should I run out of my one a day. And because of our president, we can't get stuff that I'm used to getting for my health. So yeah, it's like, obviously, everybody my age would be interested in this. The healthy circulatory system, elasticity of blood vessels, which is something that you lose as you know, have a crappy diet and get older. Um, who doesn't want a healthy brain? And relief from bronchial asthma, that is something, like if you're witnessing somebody having an asthma attack, a good strong cup of black coffee is one of the first emergency things to give them if they can swallow it. The caffeine will open up the bronchial passages. So that might be what's going on with the cocoa. But for me, if I have that kind of an emergency, I reach for my inhaler. But interesting, interesting. So I need to learn more about it, but I didn't hear anything bad about it. That's why I finally indulged. My sister said the magic words that made me say, huh, all right, I'll keep that in the back of my mind for some time in the future when I can do that. She said it was delicious. She enjoyed it. And it was just the price, and I think the inconvenience of having to order it because it's not found on every store shelf. But I actually ordered this through Walmart. But no, it was not Walmart that stocks it. Walmart has an independent seller that imports this, and they take care of it. So yeah, I want to read more about it. It's interesting to me. And my friend, I was telling her about it because she's interested in, you know, superfoods. And I said, what about, you know, you're in the right climate. What about moringa? Why aren't you growing that? And it turns out she is. She's got a couple of moringa trees on her property. It's like, oh, do you eat them? Because you can go out there and collect leaves directly from your tree and cook them and eat them like a green vegetable, if that's what you want to do. It's like, well. But the price was $28 for 14. I mean, that's not the worst case scenario. I buy cheap hot cocoa, which definitely is not the quality of the cocoa used in this. I could tell that just when I was drinking it. And my cocoa has gone up as much as and actually I even saw one week it was $5 for a box of 8. So yeah, this is still twice the price of any cocoa that I get locally. Well, this looks like it's a really pretty leaf. I'm guessing I used to actually see this all the time in Southern California. It's not an uncommon plant. It's just that it's uncommon for people to realize that it's a really powerful superfood. But these are the, look at the leaves. They're very lacy looking, right? That's a really pretty leaf. So I'm really curious. I mean, I started herbology since I was 15. So a lot of years. And I love looking at the world as everything you eat is nutrition, right? And so everything is medicine. And if you eat shitty food, you're eating shitty medicine. You're undoing what the good stuff is doing. But if you supply your body with good food, it heals itself. It does its own thing. It keeps doing what it should do. So of course I'm interested in anything like my sprouts. I know that sprouts are super powerful nutrition-wise compared to its full-grown version. The full-grown version doesn't have a fraction of the nutrition you'll find in the sprout. So you need to boost your nutrition. Sprouts are definitely an inexpensive and quick way to go, but you do it yourself. It's way cheaper, and you know they're really fresh and clean if you do it yourself. Oh God, you're at your home. I can't imagine you would have had much of an appetite today, though. Well, I won't talk about your mom's cooking. But I can say I did find. I'll show you what I got. My son gave me. My adopted son gave me for the holidays. I wish this book on everybody who wants to take care of themselves. Start here. Instructions for becoming a better cook. This is an amazing book. Ooh, crispy skinned with radishes. I heard cooked radishes are really good and don't taste anything like a raw radish. I do radish sprouts. They taste just like fresh radishes. I was wondering what I was going to make for dinner tonight. I have salmon in the freezer. But she's got all kinds of recipes here and ways to make things, and she lays it all out, how to do it from scratch, teaches you about the ingredients so that you know why you do what, all about butter and how to mix and cream it right. I would not eat that cookie. It's got too much sugar. It's a gorgeous book. You would love the feel of this book, Charlie. Oh, what did I just do with dark chocolate? Crumbly hazelnut smooches with dark chocolate. Future brownies. Future brownies? That's what I call the boxes that I have. Wait a minute. Future brownies on 305. I already went right by it. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, they put it right on after it comes out of the oven so it doesn't completely melt. Interesting. Come on, 305. Ooh, brownies. I'm not that crazy about them, actually. I like making things for other people and take a taste of it and then give the rest of it away. Okay, now I know what that's like. There you go. Glutinous sweet rice flour. I was actually going to buy some of that last week, but it was like $8 for a pound. It's like for just freaking rice flour. I think we'll pass this week. Oh, I'd eat that. It's got nuts. So yeah, every step of the way you are guided. Now, I already know a lot of this, but the recipes and the how-tos and all the little detail stuff that I either never knew or I have forgotten because it's been so many years since I've done it. Like, oh my God, yes. Yep. Oh, that looks like kind of like what I made yesterday. Yeah, coffee cake. So, wonderful books. I do love books. Yes, you will. And no, but you don't want to do canteen every day. Yes, cooking is a good way to relax. There's so many simple things. Yeah, definitely look for, of course you're in a different country, but for me growing up, the number one standard was the joy of cooking. The joy of cooking is still, this will probably replace it. The joy of cooking though, I don't see a copy up there. I think I lost my last copy to mildew. When I unpacked it here, it was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. It was the first cookbook my father gave me because it tells you everything. It tells you all about your measurements, basically everything here, how to do things, and it's full of anecdotes by the author. If you can get an antique copy of The Joy of Cooking, that is a treasure because the newer versions, they got rid of a lot of those anecdotes. And that's what made the book so charming, because when you go to look up how to do something, you learned how to do it, but you also learned what the writer had to do to learn how to do that. So, I mean, all kinds of great stuff. She was, matter of fact, the one who did that Irma something, she had an anecdote about, because she did like home ec classes teaching young people to do things, and she had a young lady who drove herself crazy, going to the stores, different store after store, looking for potato jackets, because the instructions were to put a nail through a long, clean nail through the center of the potato while it was still in its jacket. So she did not understand that the jacket is the potato peel, or what you would peel. That's the jacket. So she was out there looking to buy potato jackets for her potatoes. And the nail through a potato is so that it bakes faster from the inside out as well as outside in, and cuts down on your roasting and baking time. I can get it, but not for €1. A used copy? What is that? The last of your credit there is a €1? A good cookbook that tells you the basics is worth an investment, because you'll be using the same book for years and years. Well, hopefully you'll come across one. Just put it in your consciousness to have that arrive at the bookstore, at the antique store. If it's available, it'll find its way to you. Just ask and you will be given. But this is new, and I'm sure not cheap. Nope, definitely not. $45 in US, $60 in Canada. But if I was going to recommend a book now to teach somebody to cook, I'd probably go with this one, because it's got all the basics down, and with learning simple processes you can turn out some really fancy looking stuff. But mostly the idea is that you should be able to be healthy, and when you cook your own food, your chances at making something healthy and cheap go way up. When you cook from home and you know what you're doing, you save a ton of money and you'll eat way better. You go out, if you buy anything processed, that's what it means. Processed, they've already added preservatives and other things that there's no need for that. If you get a cans of beans, you all you gotta do is drain them and do things. Today, I watched a woman make chickpea crackers out of basically one ingredient. A can of chickpeas that she drained, rinsed, ground up into a mush, added a bunch of spices, spread it out on parchment-lined cookie sheet, and 20 minutes later, she had crackers that sounded delicious, and yeah, she was already like into that. It's like, this is really good. And it was just a can of chickpeas, so it's like she didn't even have to soak them overnight. They were ready to go. Just throw them in a blender. And if you don't have a blender, I don't have a blender, but a food processor, any kind of mixer, or if you want to mash, that's good too. Mash, add water, salt, seasonings, and the same thing, by the way, if you water it down and you want to throw an egg in it or something, you can make it into a cake, like a bread. Well, if there's a woman there that cooks, ask her advice. A lot of cookbooks are very specialized, and like I've got one I'm looking straight at. It says cobblers. That's all that's in that book. It's just cobblers. You need a general, I don't know how to cook, but I need to eat cookbook. I rely on some stuff. I've gotten such great recipes from YouTube, like making a panclit, which for some reason I can't find that recipe again. But if you like English muffins, and I don't do much bread at all anymore, but when I do, I make it most of the time. In the summer, I'm more likely to buy a loaf of bread and make sandwiches, but in winter. It doesn't take very much to whip up a little something and throw it in a hot pan. Matter of fact, one of the things I'm going to be experimenting with, already started the experiment. I used dried flaked potatoes and I added an egg, and just a smidgen of water was needed to make like a batter. I threw in some salt, but I didn't add enough seasonings or cheese or anything else. I didn't get fancy. And no oil. I forgot to use any kind of oil or butter. And I put it in my waffle maker. And the waffle maker cooked that into like a potato pancake, a potato waffle. And it cooked beautifully. It was perfect, except it was completely flavorless. It didn't taste like anything. It was just so bland. That was the thing. So, okay, well, now I know it can be done. You can do it, but it needs a lot of seasoning. The potatoes are just too dull by themselves. So the next one, I'm going to try grating some cheese. I'll throw in maybe some hot madras curry powder. It definitely needs some more salt and a bit of oil. I was thinking I wanted potato pancakes, but if you make potato pancakes from scratch, well, it's a lot of work if you have to grate the potatoes. But aside from that, the real problem for me is the oil, because a good potato pancake cooks in a good bit of oil, not deep fried, but a nice little bed of oil, and then you've got to drain all the oil off it, and inevitably you're still going to eat a bunch of oil, and I've been trying to get around that. And I thought, well, the non-stick nature of the waffle, let's give that a shot. So I'm on to something. And I'm not the first one. I know that people at waffle makers have done exactly what I'm doing. They look around for everything to make into a waffle. Now, one of the only flaw with my waffle maker, I really like it. It's theoretically a Belgian waffle maker. So it's deep. And it's got a ring around it so I don't have to worry about overflow. It catches everything. Nothing comes out the sides of it. But when you go to take it out, it's a circle that's in 4 pieces. And when you go to remove it, a lot of times you just get 1/4. It won't come out very often as one whole piece. It wants to break up into the four corners. So, I mean, it's not going to interfere with how I eat it, but I'd like it to just come out as one piece. The waffle maker itself is just so deep, it just kind of cuts into those corners. But still, I wouldn't send it back. I love that waffle maker. But because of the nature of that breaking out, I've not done corn waffles. Corn muffin batter. Cornmeal makes instant patties. Literally a cup of cornmeal, some salt. I don't even think you have to add baking soda. And then just salt and then boiling water. When you start adding boiling water to cornmeal, it starts thickening right away. So you add just enough so that you end up with a dough that you can turn into patties, or you can add more water and make it looser and pour it like a pancake. And you cook it in your pan like pancakes. And the thickness is up to you. You can put it in oil like a potato pancake and sizzle it away, or you can go dry. Originally, just boiling water into cornmeal, they used to call them hoe cakes, because people working like on the railroad would use the clean back of a shovel or a hoe and cook them out there in the heat. Pretty weird, but you need to eat when you're out in the middle of nowhere. You found ways to cook. So cornmeal and boiling water makes an instant food that's extremely delicious, and it's fast, and it's so cheap it's almost free. I mean, literally, what does it cost for a little bit of cornmeal? boiling water and a pinch of salt. And I've seen them served savory. Like when I made them, I put some little bits of roasted red pepper in it. I made it more savory, and onion. But you can also just make it plain and put maples or honey, some kind of syrup over it, like a breakfast cereal. So very versatile, very cheap, and very, very easy, and extremely filling. So, I mean, like in an emergency when you can't get out or you need to study and you're really hungry, if you've got cornmeal and a way to make hot water and a frying pan, you got it made. I mean, it doesn't take but a few minutes to cook up a couple of patties. You can eat them while you're reading. That was one of the things I used to do when I was younger. I turned everything, when I was alone, I turned everything into a hand food. Even my salad. I did not make salad out of little bits. My salad was like, get a head of lettuce, and that lettuce became a big wedge that I could dip. Big wedge, cucumbers. I didn't waste time making things tiny. It's like it's all going to end up in the same place. I have it all on my plate and I can read. I'd be reading with one hand and munching with the other. So I just chose a lot of my foods that way when I was really into what I was doing. I didn't like any interference, but I also knew if I didn't eat, the brain would stop working. You need your carbs or your brain starts blipping. Just like not enough water, you cannot make 2 and 2 into 4. The water is necessary. So it's a good thing to learn simple ways to keep yourself alive and healthy. And what I was starting to say earlier about food as medicine, when you choose your food more carefully, when you understand the wonders and the medicinal properties of the different foods and herbs, you start using them every day. It's a matter of course. It's not like I'm going to go out of my way to make a special tea to boost my immune system. It's like what boosts your immune system, and you add it to your diet all the time, like garlic. Garlic is an immune system booster because it's antibacterial and antiviral and antiparasitic. No, it does not kill parasites, but like many other herbs, it makes the environment in your body very unhospitable to things you don't want. So just incorporating them in your normal daily diet is all you need. You don't have to go gung-ho into any one herb. It's like, yeah, this is around, this is handy, this is why it's been around forever. We just forgot why, because our great-grandparents were using it all the time for food and medicine. But then, when you got to the generation of drugstores, you go and you take a pill for everything. And really just eating right goes a long way. And although moving your body is also necessary, I don't hold up my end of the stick with that as much as I should, so I can't be preaching about exercise. But when it comes to food and diet and slow medicine of good food and eating these things just as a normal part of your world, then I'm definitely there for you. I studied it, lived it, live it. Went the other way for a while and ate crappy preserved foods from the freezer departments. And, I just, aside from like frozen broccoli, which is a really handy thing to have because you can smash that frozen. While it's still frozen, you put it in your frying pan, a little bit of butter or olive oil, and very quick, good vegetable. Aside from that, though, I don't like to keep too much. I freeze my meats, freeze my fish, I freeze some veg, and I made a big change. I got a pizza, a frozen pizza. I actually cooked it yesterday finally because I figured, well, we're going on 2 months in the freezer. When the hell am I going to finally eat it? Yesterday turned out to be the day. But this has all kinds of good stuff that I did not think about. Combinations of vegetables and fruit. So it's like, and a lot of recipes for stuff that's not very well known in the US. It's like, oh, cooking with booze. Wow. Deeply tannic red wine adds richness and sweetness. Crisp, dry white wine adds acidity and brightness. I'd like to add that to my chicken soup. Fortified wines like sherry bring subtle notes of raisins and dried fruit. I'm not a fan of sherry. I tried to be, but I don't like raisins. Hoppy beer adds malty depth. The main rule is never to use something that you wouldn't enjoy drinking, as anything you add will play a role in the final flavor. So one of the reasons people cook with some alcohol is alcohol dissolves certain things in the food that make it more flavorful. It's not just because you're adding a booze. The alcohol is actually acting on the other stuff. So it's intriguing. Like, I could understand when I was younger why my father would cook this one dish. It always had to have some wine in it. And my father was not a drinker. As a matter of fact, the only alcohol in the house was for guests. My father never touched it. So I was surprised that he would cook with it. And he said all the alcohol cooks off, and you just are left with the flavors that it helps bring out. It's like, okay. All I knew is he was a really good cook. So I picked up a few things from him. Now see, I never would have thought of that. Chickpea and Swiss chard stew. But what makes it a stew is knowing all the other spices and stuff to turn it into that. Like, oh, wow. No, I never would have dreamt that recipe up in a million years. Wow, thanks, guys. Now that's a stuffed squid, and I don't think I could do that. Although I have to say, I understand why they would stuff one. It's like a little sleeve. Good looking food. Now steaming over, I don't have a steamer. So there's some things I will not be cooking, at least not this year. But, wow. I think I've come across this one before. I have made this many times. Banana bread. Well, you know, I've been watching these cooking shows on Netflix. Rough puff pastry. Every show's got a rough puff pastry. And I'm always going, how? How do they do that? Well, here it is. Because they don't really show every detail, you know, when they're doing those contests. It's like, oh, okay. And good. You need to use either the European or American style butter measurement, not both. That's important. Ooh. A semifreddo. Semifreddo. Want to make ice cream but don't have a machine? Semifreddo to the rescue. Making a mousse and then freezing it. This is olive oil ice cream. Cook for me. Chocolate pudding pie for grown-ups. That looks dangerously good. And I like this, what the hell happened? And then shows the mistakes that can happen when you're trying this recipe. Coconut caramel. Yum, yum, yum. I'm afraid I'm getting stuck here. I could just sit here all day. Twice baked caramelized cashew baklava. Oh my goodness. My, my, my. My, my, my. Ooh. Oh, and it's beautiful. Mmm. Okay, I'll stop. I know. And now I've got to decide what I'm having for dinner. I love having things to choose from, but you know what I discovered this month? I have so much stuff stocked up for winter that I actually have trouble deciding what should I do now. But the one thing I do have to make, I've got to make my sesame stuff, and I'm going to make it with almonds today. So I will have one of my favorite breakfast foods ready for tomorrow. And tomorrow is a show time, so I'll be here at 10:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. For reference, it is past the time I should have gotten off. It is 3:50 p.m. So, sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. I'll be back in the morning. You can count on me. Definitely. So I blow kisses in your direction. Mwah, 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 mwah. And I see you tomorrow, I hope.